We got like 6 minutes, y'all. I'm getting ready to talk, Miss Melinda Garner. Hold tight. Texting me, talking about some talk. Talk. I'm gonna talk in 5 minutes. Well, 4 minutes. Okay, Holly, I'm trying to add you something. There you go. There you go.
So I was trying to do it on my computer and it was giving me problems. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. How you doing?
I am great. I am great. Hold on.
You got time? You need to try that on your computer, or you wanna?
No, it's fine. Because it was kept telling me I was denying like the video and microphone, but I wasn't. So
Mhm.
I'll turn it this way. Hold on.
Okay, take your time. How's your day? You kind of.
Great. It's weird. Okay, there we
There
go.
you go.
I'm gonna get this together. Yeah, we positive mindset.
That's right. That is right. Well, thank you, Holly. I'm gonna wait 3 minutes, being that I said 9 o'clock, and then I'm gonna get started. How about that? I can't hear you now.
Oh, you can't. Sounds
Now,
great.
now I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you hear me clearly?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Look, I had to write down all the stuff about you. I said, "Oh my goodness, watch I get tongue tied." Okay. All right. Let's get started. I have with me Miss Holly. Miss Holly is a two-time author of Blood Ain't Thicker and Path to Redemption. She is a motivational speaker. She is an entrepreneur. She has her own clothing line, you all, that's called Styling is Necessary. And when we get done with this, I'm going to put the links to her book as well as her website so that you can go on and read about Holly and order some of these beautiful clothing that she has and just see some stuff that Holly does. Holly is also a credible messenger mentor at the Department of Juvenile Justice. I met Holly. Can I tell them how I met you, Holly?
Of course. You're the
Holly was my nurse. I met her. She was amazing. We vibed well. She had a beautiful spirit. And she used to always tell me, Montrese, your mindset, your mindset. and she preached that. So someone in our group had actually posted about having a positive mindset. And I kind of piggybanked off that, reached out to Holly because Holly has a story to tell. I don't want her to tell all her story. When you buy her book, you will see her story, but I want her to tell us how her mindset changed her life. All right, Holly.
Thank you. So that
Hmm.
introduction. Thank you
That was
so
a lot, Holly. That was a lot.
but thank you so much. And
Mhm.
for inviting me in your space. I know how you feel about confidentiality and how you feel about, you know, just maintaining a certain level of integrity within anything that you are a part of. So I am so honored that you even asked me to come on and be a part of your world in this group. And one thing I can tell you, in order to maintain a positive mindset, you have to stay where the anointing is. And I say that all the time. Like the environment that you choose to be in is essential to maintain a positive mindset. But for me, I had a very serious situation that I put myself in from the choices that I made, and I had to deal with some severe consequences. And during that time, I was away from my family, away from any and everything comfortable to me, and I was in a very uncomfortable place. And I realized that the only thing I had was my mind to keep me. And I watched everybody around me just look at every situation as the cup being halfway empty. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be that way. And I made up in my mind that regardless of the situation and the circumstances that I was in, I was going to take advantage of every opportunity afforded me that God had brought into my pathway that was going to help me better my life. And I began to do that. But I first had to make that decision in my mind. And that was a big step for me because prior to the choices that I made that that had me in a situation where I was incarcerated, I was first imprisoned in my mind, right? I was mentally incarcerated and I was emotionally incarcerated. And because I did not break it free from that by maintaining a positive mindset, I wind up in a physical incarceration. And it's very important for you to understand that many people may not get that far. But a lot of times people deal with those mental and emotional and spiritual incarceration. And so those are the things that make you feel like you're not worthy to be at a certain level, not worthy to walk in your purpose and really activate your gift. And it's because of the lie that you've been telling yourself. Because I believe it to be true is because you believe it to be true. And a lot of trauma and disappointments and situations and circumstances and other people's pain that they put on you throughout your life causes you to believe this truth that you don't deserve what God has for you. You have these dreams and these visions that God downloads into you, but you think that something's wrong with you because you've seen it before. You have always seen trauma and violence, but something what's inside of you wants something different, right?
Mhm.
So once your mind gets to align with your heart, you begin to see a new level. You get this spiritual eyesight like never before. And then you start to realize that no, you're not better than the next person. But in order for you to elevate, you have to separate. And then something begins to happen. When you become intentional about maintaining a positive mindset by separating from the negativity first, that's the first step, the hardest part. Because it's not comfortable being uncomfortable, but that's where God is. I remember reading in a book, I want to say, tag, I can't remember the book, but it said, you don't know that God is all you need until God is all you have.
Right.
And when you separate to elevate, you God is all you have, because it's lonely and you want to be connected. But once you begin to work on yourself, once you begin to tell yourself a different truth, God starts to multiply what he subtracted. Like, because he don't just add, he multiplies. Like, he does things 10 times over.
Right.
Then you're able to be in those places where the anointing is. And now things begin to change. Things begin to happen. You begin to find the right who's for everything that you need. And you become the right who for other people's needs. You begin to see your value. You begin to activate what's already inside of you. Because everything you need to be great is already in you.
Right. Because I remember when I met you and you told me your story. At first, I was like, no, it cannot be. I just, because I didn't, I'm not gonna say I couldn't see you there. I couldn't see you there because of your positive mindset. And you helped me to have a positive mindset because I was all over the place. I was all You had to straighten me out. You was like, Montrese, we're gonna do this way, we're gonna do this that way. And you really did get me straightened out. But I remember asking you, how did you make it? Because you were away a long time,
Yes.
10 years. Can I safely say that? Okay. And I said, what, how did you do it? Because I know a certain mindset to just make it, you know. And that was amazing to me. And I know that you said one point you just said about feeling like you don't deserve. When we have a mindset and we feel like we don't deserve certain say it, how we carry it out our life is saying you don't deserve. You feel like you don't deserve. Because if you felt like you deserve, you wouldn't, we wouldn't do the things that we do. We do and live our life according to what we feel we deserve. So it's very important if we want to elevate, we got to get that mindset right. It's very important that separation, you said it was uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable because sometimes we separate and we don't really want to. We all say everybody can't go. We always say that. But when it comes down to it and God really shows you who you have to eliminate to elevate, it's hurtful, but you have to do it.
And I think the hardest part about that is that those who you separate from, automatically they begin to demonize you, right? For your and and they know the potential that you have. They know the light that's in you, but they're afraid of it because they don't understand it. It's almost like the moth and the butterfly. How they both start off as those caterpillars. But when it comes to the pressure of the cocoon season, right? One just can't take it anymore. Pops out, comes the nocturnal, right? And but that butterfly sticks in there, they can handle just a little more pressure because everybody is not designed the same, right? Some people God give that extra bit of strength to withstand the things that other people won't make it. I saw a lot of women take their life for way less time than me. Now I was sentenced to 25 years, but I had to fight. I had to not give up. It was my mindset that got me to the point where I was able to get my sentence overturned. And I realized, again, the moth and the butterfly. There were so many women that were sitting in there that had given up.
Mhm.
They given up. They stopped fighting. They could not take the pressure of the cocoon season. They could only see in the dark now. They were nocturnal. They were moths. But I kept pushing. I didn't care how the pressure was. Something activated inside of me. I
Right.
began to fight. And so when my case got overturned and they saw the result, they began to fight too. They went back to the cocoon. And when I left, there were two other women that got their case.
Wow.
Saw someone fight, and you and the people that are watching or listening, you might be that person that has to deal with that pressure of the cocoon while your friends have gone and become moths. And
Mhm.
have to come back, see, because when someone can only see in the dark and you're this, you see all these beautiful, sunny and bright things, you have these great and these big and ideas, and you're trying to talk to your mom friends, they can't see what you see.
Right.
So they don't understand.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you're wasting words. And so then you have to separate and be about that. And you can come back and help them because when they see, it-
Right. That's right. Because I know, what was that you used to tell me that I was all the time when I used to get aggravated? You might have said you are a, what did you tell me, Holly?
remember,
I can't remember, but it was, you were telling me that I had something in me to fight with, but I can't remember the terminology that you used.
I don't know, Montrese.
It's no telling. It's no telling. But I know we did a lot of praying in that office. I mean, and we I wanna say I made it. I
Yeah,
made it. Because I was out of there, Holly, I was gone. I
it's
was out.
because those patients needed you.
Mhm.
And what are you crazy? I remember when I would when you would leave out to go do something, I would go and check in on a patient that you had just seen, you was on to the next one, and they would be there with tears in their eyes crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? You got bad. And they'd be crying because they were so happy. Because when they went to the bathroom and came back, you had wrote a positive note or a scripture or something on a napkin and left it there for them.
Right.
And, and they couldn't believe that you being so busy and fact that you took the time to speak into and to speak into their soul. So I already knew that that place needed you, right? You didn't need that place. And sometimes God just places, put us in places and position for such a time as this.
Right, right. But in a sense, I did need my patience. And it was crazy because I remember when I used to write the scriptures down and give to them. And when they would come back, I wouldn't even remember that I had actually written them a scripture. I'd be like, what are you talking about? It's just, I guess I was letting God use me. I was trying to lift them up. And at that time, I was not even concerned about going back to school for mental health. But I feel like God wanted me to do this. I mean, like, a lot had to happen to get me back in school, and I actually went back during COVID, but I always knew that I wanted to uplift people and help them develop, give them something to look forward to. Because at some point in our lives, we all been there.
And how bad then were you able to do that and be able to do that if you haven't gone?
Right.
Had to fight, if you haven't had to have those feelings where you was ready to walk out and give it all up and say, forget this,
Hmm.
but your why. You look at you see their needs, you look at people that you know that you could help if you just stuck in there a little while longer.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sometimes, when God gives us certain visions, especially when it's going to impact a community, it's going to be painful because the enemy don't want you to save all these people.
That's
They don't
right.
help do that. And if you have people that are dealing with certain issues, they don't want to talk to nobody that's never been through anything. That's
That's
why I like the job I do at the Department of Juvenile Justice. Why our team is so effective because those young men and women know that we've been there. We've been exactly where they are.
Mhm.
We know what town it stand online, eat three stuff that we don't want to eat. They know it. We know like to have a few uniforms and not be able to turn on a light and cut it off when we feel like it. So when we're telling them and we're showing them and we become that manifestation of what it's like to start to think positive and make better choices, they can't say you don't understand because yes, we do. They
Right,
know
right.
that our message is credible. That's what makes your messages credible in the line of work that you do. You've been through it and you've been so much more even before I met you.
Right.
We've had those.
Right. And I don't mind, telling my patients, not the patients say I talk too much, but my like the staff that I work with, but they need that transparency. They need that. They need to see that you are human because a lot of time, and I feel like a lot of am I safe to say providers or people that work in different fields, they get the feeling like they are above. You know, you've seen it, Holly. And you can't reach people like that. You got to show patients that you are not, you right there with them. God might have given you something to help them. Well, he did give it to you because you don't do it on your own. A surgeon does not go into surgery and perform surgery on his own. That's all God. God has given him that. A fireman, he's not just fighting fires on his own. God blessed him, made him the fireman to be able to do that. We all have a purpose in life. And I know that it's important to align ourselves with that who. You told me that last night. Everybody has that who. I thought about that all night. Everybody has that who. It's that person who's going to push them to the next level. And once you have that who, you unstoppable, but you got to have that who. You got to align yourself with the right people because you are who you associate with. I mean, you can associate with people, but who you spend your time with, who you relate to, make sure it's somebody positive. And if you're not getting what you need in the room, you need to exit that room. And if you're not bringing value to somebody's life, you need to exit that room. It goes both ways.
And it's like so many people will give you a list of things or characteristics that they want in a friendship or in a relationship, what they want to see in another person, but they can never reciprocate that same level of value. Not all people. And I try to just tell people, instead of complaining, this person is doing this and this person is this way, become the person you want to see. Because sometimes people have never seen this person that you have in your mind. Maybe they're just in that environment, in that household where it's just filled with negativity. So all they can do is complain. I remember I asked someone when I was incarcerated. I asked one of the ladies. I said, why do you just complain so much? Like, what does it do for you? She said, it makes me feel better.
Right.
What do you got to say to that? She said, it makes me feel better. Oh,
Right.
and she was a lady of a certain age, so she was set in her ways. I'm not about to waste words with her. I'm just gonna go
Mhm.
with that. I'm not going to waste that, and that's just who she is. So do I want to stay in her company all day? Now I have to separate, because sometimes we have to realize even some of our bestest of friends, um, when they decide to not grow anymore, and we still desire to grow and elevate, sometimes we have to separate from them. And feelings, right? Otherwise, we are going to conform to become them. Like, I remember the very first, my mom reminds me all the time of the very first moment when things began to shift, when I started to become probably mentally or emotionally incarcerated, because I started to hang around this young lady who cursed like a sailor. And I never cursed. I was, grew up in a household, always went to church. My parents ain't played at Catholic school, private school, no earrings, no bigger than a quarter, you know, amazing household where the rules was laid strict. But I was living in Harlem, New York, out the window, and the girls is hopping out of the fly cars and wearing the fly clothes and wearing jewels, and I had this superficial seduction, and I
Mhm.
decided to, veer off that other way. And then I started to, and when the thought that happen when you start to be seduced by these superficial seductions, the enemy starts to say, "Oh, I know what you like," and they start to connect you with people that's all about that life. So I
Mhm.
girl that didn't know anything about education up to a certain level or working hard, she was a hustler her whole life, and that began this cycle. All of a sudden, I was coming home a couple of weeks later, and I was saying to my having a regular conversation with my mom, and I kept having to say, "Well, I'm sorry," because I was
Mhm.
hold up. You ain't never slipped and cursed in my presence. And then not once, but ever since you've been hanging with that girl, character is beginning to
Right.
change.
That's right. That is
Better
right.
watch. I ain't watching. Said I just said 25 years.
You prayed your way right on out of there. You had the mindset because I remember you told me You told yourself, oh, I'm not sitting here. I'm not staying in prison 25 years. I'm not doing it. But I feel like, Holly, you had the right mindset all along. You might have made some bad choices, but you had to make those choices because it was some people, I'm sure, when you were in prison that you helped. You told me about it last night. The women, like what you're doing now, who are buying land. I think you said one in Africa is buying land, a couple is going to open up daycare. So you had to experience what you experienced so that you could get on that level so that you could reach them. Had you not, you wouldn't have did it. I mean, you got to tell people your background. I was telling my sister today, I said, do you know Holly's daddy was a member of the Odyssey? We was looking up songs and listening to songs and everything. She said, for real? I said, for real. So we was looking it up at work. She said, oh, okay. He was kind of cute. We pull you all the way up. We just did a whole thing. I know you told me, and it was amazing to me. You said, we had a maid growing. You remember you told me that? You said we had a maid, but you were so humble. I was like, this girl had a maid, really? So you had that mindset already. You didn't have you wasn't stuck in the poverty mindset. You had that in you to want more and to do more. It was instilled in you, Holly.
And you know how people say I get it from my mama all the time.
Mhm.
Like I get it from my mama, because like you said, my dad was a famous singer with a group called Odyssey. Back in the days, a lot of songs, State of New York, Back to My Roots, Inside Out. And he traveled, the world. I was even before I was born. So my brother really got to experience um, this high level and it being snatched from him. I was just a little baby, so I really don't remember that part of our life. The parts I remember of our life, I didn't know that there was a difference from what, live, but my brother, would remind me all the time because my parents didn't like to talk about it too much. But we went from living in a penthouse in Central Park to, I would like to say, one block from the projects. I went from wearing ponytails with ribbons in my hair to cornrows with beads at the end. And but one thing remained consistent was my mom's character. I didn't know that we were poor, right? I didn't know that we went from having everything to um, pretty much, at the welfare line, lights is out and everything. Cause like I love candles. I love candlelight, fireplace, and I didn't understand why. But then I started to remember that my mom used to light candles all the time. And I just thought it was just such this beautiful light. And she used to play this game where we used to like wrap gifts of things that were in the house. And I didn't realize it was because the electricity was off. And so that's why we had to cut on the lights. I mean, that's why we had to use the candles, and that we were rewrapping these gifts to put under the Christmas tree to pretend to be opening up something new because, that's how life had happened. Like it was from way up here to like way down here, really quickly. And but my mom's attitude didn't change. The way she talked to my dad didn't change. Nothing really much changed except for the place that we lived. And even when it was time to go to the park, she would still walk all the way down to Central Park to take us to that same park that we would play at when we lived in the penthouse right across the street and had the same friends. It was like she still maintained and kept things consistent. And I think that allowed me to be the woman that I am today and showed me how to be that, how to do that. And then things turned back around. When my dad was this famous singer, my mom was a traffic manager for WBLS, which was a very popular radio station back, at that time in New York. And she worked with Frankie Crocker, all of these star, radio personalities. And so my mom was able to kind of hold it down a bit. My dad went back to school. He started off as a security guard. Imagine traveling the world, buying jewelry and all kind of things from different countries my mom had and clothes and outfits to a security guard, all because he didn't understand contract, right? He went from having everything to his manager taking all of his money and moving to South Africa,
Wow.
right? Just like that, and not understanding that paperwork that he was signing away because he got into the music business at 16 years old, right? And so that affected the family. but I think it developed certain characteristics in each of us. Um,
Right.
and things started to turn back around. My dad, he started off as a security guard, but he was going to school to be an accountant. And it lady from human resources at Liz Claiborne, he was a security guard in her building, and she was watching. And he told her, she said, I need you to do this because we're looking for an accountant, no promises. He wound up working for Liz Claiborne for about 10 years and then went over to Bernard House. So once he got to that level, my mom had the choice whether she wanted to work or not, back to how it should be. Right.
Wow.
My
Okay. I remember you told me one time, speaking of your mother's mindset, you told me, you said even when the lights were out, she never disrespected my daddy. She never stopped loving him. She never reduced him down to size. You know why? Because she had that wife mindset. She was gonna ride that wave with him because she was a wife. And I know like a lot of people nowadays, they don't have that mindset. They don't have you have to have a wife mindset before you get married. You cannot go into a marriage and don't have that wife mindset. You can't. So
everything,
that's good.
even in the word in Proverbs, when a man finds a wife, he finds it. And you're a wife before it puts a ring on. So that
Mhm.
you are already a wife in your spirit. Like, how do you become a wife in your spirit? You have to block out from social media. Oh, honey, when I came home to social media,
I
child,
know.
girl, like,
Social media isn't real. It's not real. People make up this life they want to have just for the world to see, to prove it's not real. It took me a long time. I used to be upset watching certain things on social media. I'm like, well, why is that not me? And then one day I realized, well, actually, my sister helped me to realize. She's like, Montreal, social media is not real. And I was like, it's not real.
a lot of that stuff is like, it's just it's amazing, and it's so sad how so many people try to compare and compete
Mhm.
themselves to people that are on social media. That 90% is not even who they really are.
That is right. That is right.
And they show up in person on social media, you meet them in person, and they're a totally different person. Like, what happened? Do you Are you only nice for the likes? Because your character is terrible.
Right.
So
Hmm.
it's crazy. Like, it's crazy. But that helped me with my mom being who she was and showing me even how she was with my dad. It allowed me to have a consistent character even in prison. I remember guards and people used to tell me, like, how do you walk around with so much joy? You got 25 years. I choose joy. What you want me to look like, y'all? And because of yeah, like walk around mad. That Where is that gonna get us? Where? Like, I know girls who will walk around screw face mad, just mad and complaining. But I wanted to know, where did that get you? Right. And me, I choose joy. And guess what? Anytime there was an opportunity, who you think they
Right. You.
when
Hmm.
I got a degree in biblical studies with a concentration in ministry from Columbia International University while I was in prison. I am a certified literary braille transcriber through the Library of Congress, specializing in Nemeth and Science while I was in prison. Right. I have hospice care training, palliative care training, certification while I was in prison.
Wow.
Why? And there were people on the waiting list for opportunities that these because of my character, because people wanted to be in my presence. And people don't understand that. Like, people block their own blessings because they don't make sure that they have value to add. They don't even work on themselves and master their gifts and master their talents so that they can provide the value that they want. They just want to be takers. They just want to come into a situation instead of being beneficial.
Right.
You know
A
what
lot of people, like if you're selfish, you're not gonna get anywhere. I was looking up some information today, and it was saying that having a positive mindset it lifts your serotonin, your some antidepressant that is doing, just your mindset is doing what this medicine that we are prescribing for people to put in their bodies. If you could just have a positive mindset, I think it was a study, and I'm gonna put the link when I get finished. It was saying one study that they did, it people had 35% lower instances of heart disease just with having a positive mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you are what you think. Everything starts in the mind.
That's right. It does. It
It's
does.
the same way. And a lot of times we want instant gratification because, social media really got us wanting instant gratification.
Mhm.
But if you start off, because let me tell you something, Montrese. Um, when I was incarcerated, probably around about my fifth year, sixth year, there was a group of ladies who came in, and they used to do Zumba class.
Mhm.
You know what it is? It's like
Mhm.
exercise classes, and we truly enjoyed that. And one of the ladies that led the class, she started to talk about this thing called affirmation. And she said that that is something that had helped her life, and she challenged us to write an affirmation of where we wanted to be, what we wanted our life to look like. Even though the judge said this and we were in this situation, what do we want? And so I wrote my affirmation, and she said, put it where you can see it every morning. When you get up, you read this affirmation every morning, and eventually memorize it. And you say it in the shower, and anytime you're feeling down, you say it. And mine was, still remember to this day, today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be wonderful. I'm expecting great things to happen today. I will have positive thoughts and speak positive words. I will be a blessing to somebody today, and nobody will steal my joy. I am a healthy, physically fit, virtuous woman of God who has been given a second chance. The Lord continues to bless me abundantly and work miracles in my life. I will not let him down. I am going home today. Today is my day. And after a few years of me saying that with no results, I started to say, suddenly, Jesus. My friend came to visit me and she told me, I was thinking about the affirmation that you say to yourself, because I would say it to her and say it on visit. And I want you to add suddenly, Jesus, to the end. Add suddenly, Jesus. And a couple of months later, suddenly the officer told me to pack up my stuff and I had to be to the court.
Yeah. You
I
cut
was,
off.
I was like, what? You mean now?
Mhm. I remember in my office, you told me that they told you to pack up, and you didn't even have time to tell people bye. You was getting packed so quick.
Suddenly he does it.
Mhm.
After suddenly, if you continue and you believe and you stay consistent, he wants to see consistency, because how can he move you to the next level if you don't build the consistency and commitment, and then
Right. And we have to, not only do we have to believe it, we have to do things to aid it along. We can't just say, I think I might say this, yeah, we can't just say, I want to be X, Y, and Z, or I want to do X, Y, and Z, but we're not putting any work in. We got to put the work in. We have to.
we must do that. Yeah.
Sure do. All right. Let me see if we have any questions. I have enjoyed this, Holly.
Ew,
Let's
thank
see.
you again.
See. Not that I can see them. Look, let me put my specs on. Let me see. Now, if you want to say anything, Holly, jump in. Oh, my sister said you can be Melinda Gardner. If you want to say anything, Holly, I'm echoing. Wait a minute. Oh, my sister said you can be Melinda. I had to turn it off, but we had one reader. Someone was speaking, but one said that you can be anything you want to be, and you can.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can.
Amen. Yes, you can definitely be anything you want to be, because everything you need to be great. But like I said, I would reiterate it over and over again. You have to be an environment conducive to. elevate what's inside you. You have to separate to elevate, because when, and you'd be surprised, they're going to be strangers that God sent that is going to speak life to that thing and it's going to speak over you. Like when I became an author, my piece was because it was time I decided to join the church and actually serve and be a volunteer. So I do media at Ford City. And so when I did my, because you kind of you shadow in the area that you want to serve, and then you kind of enjoy service the next service. And this usher had sat this lady next to me, and I usually take notes in church. And so the lady said, "Are you an author or do you just journal?" That's an interesting question right in the middle of praise and worship, you know? And I said, well, I was thinking about finishing my story because I started writing my story when I was incarcerated, but then I went to Bible college. So then I got convicted, Montrese. I was like, I can't be writing these papers about Jesus and then writing about my ratchet past.
Mhm.
Now it's conflicting. And
Mhm.
so I kind of put the pen down, and I got this writer's block when it came to telling my story. But my brother had just recently was like, you need to get back into writing your story. You need to drop that book. And I was looking at some papers from when I was in Bible college and from my professors, and they said, you should consider publication because your writing is flawless. And again, strangers speaking life to which you're already captured, even in prison, right? But I kind of or that came home. God is going to continue that repetition, right? Just like you are calling out to him repeatedly with your affirmations, with what it is that you are desiring, he is constantly calling out to you to activate your gift, to activate that thing that's inside of you. And what he does, he sends people to speak over you and to confirm his word. While the next person, he wait a while and send somebody else. And so this lady taught me to be an author. And let me tell you how everything in life that happens connects, and there's a reason for it. So when the lady gave me her card, it said, "I'll be a writer." Thinking, "Wow, I wonder how long this lady had this organization." So when I called her the next day, she said, "Yeah, for about 20 years." And I said, "Have you ever any prison programs?" And she said, "Yeah. A few years ago, I right up the street at the Women's Center, which was where I started." And so I was like, "Oh, I was in this program." She said, "I had this program, and like we when they changed warden, the whole program got shut down. And I was only in the program for like 2 months. And I never met her though. I was obviously meeting her assistant that was working with that particular group. And it was amazing that now we're connected, right, in this church. So again, God will start to help you remember why things have happened. And when I say that, I mean when I was sentenced to 25 years, remember I wound up doing a little bit shy of 10 years, 9 years, 8 months, and 11 days. Um, and when I was sentenced to 25 years, I was like, wow, like what? Like my first time ever being in trouble, 25 years. But if I hadn't got the 25 years, I would not have qualified
Mm,
to get my degree,
mm.
to patients in Braille. I wouldn't have had, if they would have sentenced me to the time that I did, I would not have had enough time to qualify for the college program or for the Braille program or for the Columbia Alliance program, or probably for a lot of other things that I was able to get certified because those things were reserved a long time
Mm.
and time and some work.
That's how God will align you with the people that you need, will align you with the places you need to be in. And sometimes people, I was actually talking to my sister about this yesterday. Sometimes people will exit your life for a short period of time or however long. God say that they got to exit, and then when they come back in it, you see the purpose of them being in your life. You see the purpose of you being in your life, and it's awesome. We just have to listen. We can't ask. And sometimes, people have to separate to heal, you know, because two damaged people are going to destroy each other, and neither one of them are going to reach the purpose that God has for them in their life.
That's right.
Wow. Well, Holly, I thank you for your time. I'm going to order two of each one of your books, and I'm going to figure out how I'm going to gift them. I'm going to do that tonight, either in the morning. I'm very proud of you. I went on your site. I had to get off because I saw all these clothes. I said, oh my goodness, I'm trying to get these credit cards paid off, but I'm going to order something from your clothing line as well. I know that you're going to continue to do great because you have that mindset. It's in you. It's in you and it's on you. And I love you.
Now, for any ladies that's on here, and for you too, Montrese, because you said you coming, join me. It's going to be 9 amazing speakers in Jamaica. And listen, girls, they done upgraded us to a castle. So the event,
Oh,
castle, it is so beautiful, Montrese. Let me tell you.
okay.
The 20th. They have VIP options, all of those different things. Check out the website. You can go to my website and register. It's iseemybaby.org. She deserves 2024 Women's Wellness Retreat in Negril, Jamaica. It is
All
going to
right.
listen, private chefs, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, massages, all the things, ladies. So come
Wow. I will be there. I tried to click on the link earlier when I was at work. I was going to go ahead and register, but it wouldn't let me click on it. I was on your website and I tried to click and it wouldn't take me to like the registration for that.
well, I'm going to make sure I send you the other link
Okay, send it to me so I can go ahead and put my time in.
for sure. Thank
All right. Thank you, Holly.
you. Good
All right. Good night.